Hey, this is my ex-husband. Look, he got demoted. Sam and I faced each other in silence. Sam's face turned pale. What an unbelievable coincidence. I let out an exasperated laugh. You got transferred to Denver? My wife Kylie's face turned grim. How could someone who'd always been at the headquarters suddenly get sent to the sticks? Did you screw it up? No, that's not it. Well, you're never going to tell me the truth anyway. I'm not going, so you can go alone. How incompetent do you have to be to get a transfer like that? It's pathetic. Kylie left the room without finishing her meal. That would be the end of our conversation for tonight. My name is Harry. I've been transferred after working 20 years at the New York headquarters. Kylie and I got married 3 years after I started the job. She was a junior in college, and back then we were just club mates. After graduation, Kylie actively approached me. In hindsight, she must have liked where I worked. It's one of the leading publicly traded companies in the US. Because of that, Kylie must have decided I was a suitable marriage partner. She was an only child, and her father ran a business. He was generous and bold, and I feel Kylie was raised not so much spoiled but rather indulged. Back then, we enjoyed our time together, and she was also the most stylish and beautiful woman I knew, probably thanks to her wealth. Many of our friends admired her, and they were jealous of our marriage. Our primary requirement for choosing our house was its proximity to her parents' house. Considering Kylie was an only child, this seemed natural. My married sister also lived in the city, and I still had a younger brother in school living at home. I had no reason to live near my parents, so I agreed to Kylie's request. In retrospect, it was beneficial for our daughter Chloe, who was born later, but it may have had adverse effects on Kylie. Even after marriage, Kylie often put herself first, with her mother filling in the gaps. She'd make plans on a whim, wanting to go out with friends, drink, or relax alone, and would call her mother over. That's probably why Chloe became so close to her grandmother. Kylie's mother, while frustrated with Kylie's whims, had half given up. She often sighed, saying Kylie was just like her father. And she'd always apologize to me. If she took the traits of her father, no amount of upbringing could change her nature. I comforted her mother and was grateful for her help with Chloe. But as a mother, Kylie needed to step up. Even though her mother adored Chloe, arguments about raising her became more frequent. The first major challenge was applying for preschool. Kylie was embarrassed that she hadn't attended a private school. She failed her middle school entrance exams and entered a high school affiliated with a university, but felt out of place among students who had been together since middle school. So she wanted Chloe to take preschool entrance exams, but Chloe was born in summer. At 2 years old, she was too young compared to other children applying for the 3-year-old class. Neither I nor her parents were enthusiastic about Chloe starting it so early. Despite that, Kylie alone enrolled Chloe in preparatory classes and gathered information. But Chloe didn't want to be separated from her mother and couldn't focus on the lessons, falling short of Kylie's expectations. Eventually, Kylie got bored and gave up. As Chloe grew up, she became more capable, regularly becoming class rep in elementary school, excelling in sports and academics, and making many friends. Kylie was the first to bring up middle school entrance exams. Thinking ahead to college, she persuaded her 9-year-old daughter that it would be better to take the middle school entrance exam now, and that friends can only get along with each other if they start in middle school. As a few of Chloe's close friends started discussing entrance exams, she embraced the idea and set her goal for it. But that's where the real problems began. Chloe started to take lessons at a cram school. Yet, just because you attend a cram school doesn't mean your grades would skyrocket. A friend of mine who's a teacher once said that it's harder to improve the grades of top students than to help those scoring 50s or 60s reach 80. Chloe was exactly that prior case. Moreover, the content at the cram school is different from regular schoolwork. In 4th grade, they learn ahead of the elementary curriculum to build a foundation, and by 5th grade, they start on middle school entrance exam material. By the 6th grade, they are fully immersed in practical quizzes for their target schools. Although it's elementary students taking the exams, they're learning at a middle school level. Children who have already been putting in a lot of effort are asked to work even harder. Kids who are doing well might find they're not so exceptional once they start cram school. Many feel discouraged by this.
Chloe, being diligent, persevered, but she went through a tough period without much improvement. Kylie never helped her with her studies or offered encouragement.
Instead, she would say things like, "If you don't improve your scores, you can't play on Sundays. Everyone else is working harder." During the winter break of 5th grade, Chloe snapped. She threw her fork down at the dinner table and yelled, "You don't know anything. So stop meddling." Seeing this, Kylie didn't shift gears to align with our daughter. Instead, she doubled down, saying, "Do you know how worried I am? If you fail the exams, you'll be the one embarrassed."
Seeing this, I stepped in, telling Kylie that I'd take over the tutoring and to stop pressuring our daughter.
Kylie then lashed out at me, saying, "What do you know? You've been busy with work and indifferent." She left the table. "Do whatever you want. Let's see what happens."
With that parting shot, she disappeared to the bedroom. I calmed Chloe down, got her to eat, and said, "But you did well."
Chloe looked at me. Stress needs to be released, or it harms both mind and body. There might have been other ways,
but I don't think standing up to your mom was wrong. Telling someone who's already trying hard to try harder is like
adding extra weight to someone already carrying a load.
Both you and your mom just had different approaches.
We can fix that. But I made mom angry. Leave her be for now. She won't listen to anything in this state. It'll only make things worse. Apologize tomorrow. Sometimes, it's best to give people space.
If Chloe went to apologize now, Kylie would only get angrier, venting all her unresolved frustrations. It would be best if Kylie could realize she overstepped and apologize first, but she never reflects on herself. Her mother, on the other hand, is excellent at this,
which means Kylie takes it after her father.
Her mother lived without ever hearing, "I was wrong" from her husband, always being ordered around and bearing his frustrations.
Yet she tried to appease him. It's pitiable to witness.
After dinner, Chloe and I reviewed her missed questions.
We need to figure out what's causing the slow growth and fix it. To solve the problem, we first had to identify the cause.
I converted Chloe's cram school grades into data, creating graphs and tables for visual clarity. We identified her weaknesses and the causes of her mistakes. She frequently made careless errors. Simple calculation mistakes, misinterpretations of questions, and spelling errors. She was overconfident in her language arts skills, often neglecting to carefully review her answers. I stressed that achieving perfection in her strong subjects required meticulous attention. In math, her anxiety prevented her from focusing. While solving problems, she'd worry about the next one, whether she'd run out of time,
and what she'd do if she couldn't solve it. I reassured her that practice would help her get used to it. She should solve the easy problems first and leave the difficult ones for later.
I had her copy geometry problems into her notebook to familiarize herself with the shapes.
Seeing her performance trends and results in Excel helped Chloe objectively assess herself and calmly tackle problems. Soon,
this began to reflect in her results, and she started to regain confidence.
Kylie, however, wasn't the kind of mother to fully celebrate Chloe's efforts.
While we were pleased with Chloe's results, Kylie would warn her not to slack off or remind her that getting sick would negate her efforts. Her advice, though well-intentioned, was pessimistic and often demoralizing.
Even I found it tough to handle.
So I could only imagine how it affected our elementary school daughter.
Can't you encourage Chloe a bit more? Why do you speak so cynically when all you have to do is say well done? You're so proud of yourself, aren't you? You think you've raised her grades with your teaching and are bragging about it, making me look bad. Why should I encourage her? Don't you care about your own daughter? Why is it always about you? Our arguments became more frequent, and eventually, I started sleeping in the study. It was since I found the bedroom door locked after helping Chloe with her studies. I used the master key to get in. But from that night on, we never slept together again. "Dad, will you come with me on the exam day?" Hearing Chloe's hesitant request, I took a day off to accompany her. I wanted to eliminate as many worries as possible. With a short window for admissions, some schools announce results on the day of the exam, requiring the enrollment fee to be paid by the next day.
having already secured a spot at her second-choice school.
We needed to quickly decide where to pay the enrollment fee after the first-choice school's results were out.
I planned ahead and requested time off at work.
Fortunately,
my boss, having gone through a similar experience with his son, understood and approved my leave. Despite Chloe's big win of getting into her first-choice school, Kylie remained cold and indifferent since that day. Even at the celebratory dinner hosted by her parents, she bristled at her father's comment about Chloe getting into a better school than her mother did, and made excuses on circumstances being different in her times. Her mother tried to smooth things over by suggesting we eat before the soup got cold, but Kylie snapped,
"You don't understand.
These two teamed up to make a fool of me, criticizing my ways and telling me not to interfere.
They've ignored me and my efforts."
We didn't ignore you. We just asked